Hey everybody, and welcome back once again. Today's January 3rd, 2020. Pretty big news story today, as Donald Trump has ordered an airstrike at Baghdad International Airport. Reports claim that Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani, was killed in this attack, as well as some of his other powerful cabinet members. Now, with this being such a big news story, we would expect it to be largely by the numbers, and that's what we're going to get into today. Now, there's a lot of things to look at. There's a lot of moving pieces here, a lot of people. But we're going to focus on the two main characters of this story, Donald Trump, the United States president, who ordered the airstrike in Baghdad, and Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani, the key official who was said to have died in the attack. We're also going to be looking at the numerology of the Persian Gulf crisis, which by official standards began on May 5th of last year, when John Bolton, who at the time was the U.S. National Security Advisor, sent ships into the area to send a clear message to Iran. So let's get this going. Now, in addition to dates on the calendar and date numerologies, we're focusing on the language of Gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words. This practice is very simple, and once you understand that there's something going on behind this, the mainstream media, everything becomes much clearer. And we're going to look at how these decodes work. There's a couple of other ciphers. Again, these are the same base 4 ciphers I teach in every single one of my videos. The two most important are English ordinal and full reduction, also called Pythagorean, which uses the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit prior to adding it to the equation. These reverse ciphers simply turn the alphabetic order around so that Z is 1 and A is 26. Those are complementary ciphers. Today's date, January 3rd, 2020, which was the date of the attack in Iraq, falls a span of 6 months and 2 days after the 2019 total solar eclipse. Today's attack resulted in the death of a general, which equals 62 in the alphabetic order. This general was named Qasem Soleimani, which sums to 62 in the reduction cipher. A significant part of this riddle is the word sacrifice, which sums to 62 in the reverse reduction method. Notice how the name Qasem Soleimani also sums to 226 in the reverse alphabetic order. This is the English extended value of sacrifice. The extended cipher amplifies the numbers instead of reducing them. This cipher closely mirrors Hebrew Gematria and Greek isopsephy. So his name equals sacrifice, just like general, the measurement to the eclipse. Donald Trump was sworn into office on Inauguration Day, January 20th of 2017. Meaning that measuring from that date to the date of the attack is exactly 154 weeks. Using the standard alphabetic order, the phrase ritual sacrifice sums to 154. Notice how this same phrase sums to 73 in reduction. This is the same value as the word sacrifice, 73. The Persian Gulf crisis began on May 5th of 2019. Measuring from that date to the date of the airstrikes is a span of exactly 7 months and 30 days. While the date that politicians took office is almost always extremely significant, the other significant date is going to be their birthday. Donald Trump was born on June 14th of 1946, meaning that not only is he 73 years old, aligning with the Gematria of sacrifice, the number of days since the beginning of the crisis, but he's also 204 days after his birthday. This stands out because with the alphabetic order, using capital letters, the name of the general killed in the airstrike sums to 204. But this is important for more reasons. 24 happens to be today's standard numerology, 1 plus 3 plus 20. And in our standard reduction cipher, the nation of Iran sums to 24. I also find it quite interesting that the Persian Gulf crisis began May 5th, which is the date that leaves 240 days in the year. Of course, as I always explain, these zeros essentially irrelevant in the result. So these 24s all line up nicely. The 24th prime number is 89. Every year, Iran celebrates its national holiday on the date April 1st, which is exactly 89 days after this attack. Ever since we flipped the calendar over to the year 2020, the number 22 has been massively significant. Of course, I had a video on the death of David Stern on the first day of the year. David equals 22, just like Stern and basketball. He was the commissioner of the NBA, dying on the first day of 2020 at the age of 77, which sums to 2020. Stern was also born on the 22nd day of the month. So the 22 riddle carries over into this news story as well. First of all, the date May 5th, the beginning of this crisis, is a reflected 22. And if you think that's playing with numbers, consider that the date itself actually had a life lesson number of 22 as well. So here we sit in the year 2020. Qasem Soleimani began his military service in the year 1979, meaning that by virtue of his 1957 birthday, he was 22 years old. The number 22, in fact, has a prime relation with the number 79. 79, the 22nd prime number, Soleimani beginning his service in the year 79 at the age of 22. The airstrike that killed Soleimani was carried out at 2200 International Time. Another cipher I want to introduce into this video is the prime number cipher. This uses the standard alphabetic order, but uses related prime numbers. And I virtually talk about primes in all of my videos. These are extremely significant. Notice how Baghdad, Iraq, where Soleimani died, has a value of 202. The 202nd prime number is 1231. And the reason this stands out is because the airstrike that occurred today was retaliation for an attack on December 31st. This is when reports said that militiamen had attacked the U.S. Embassy December 31st, resulting in the deaths of several United States citizens. And of course, that was in Baghdad. We're going to take a look at Jewish Gematria here. This cipher, I believe, is the most significant outside of the base methods. It's based in the Latin alphabetic order, more modern English characters placed at the end. Now, today's attack occurred on January 3rd, which is written 1/3. Of course, 13, a favorite number of the dark occult. The nation of Iran sums to 130 in Jewish Gematria. The quote that was used when John Bolton began the Persian Gulf crisis conveniently summed to 1030 in the same cipher. Furthermore, Iran became an Islamic republic on the date April 1st of 1979, which had full numerology of 103. Through this, there's a prime chain. I just want to point out the 13th prime number is 41, which is the number of years Soleimani was in the military. The 41st prime number, 179, this connects us back to the number of days Trump has been in office. The bombing occurred on his 1079th day in office. And let's not ignore the 79, as we understand this is a big part of the puzzle. And the numeric connections between these men seem to be pretty significant. Soleimani's name in Jewish Gematria sums to 450, which is the value of Scottish. Remember, it's the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry headquartered in D.C. Donald Trump is the 45th U.S. president. Furthermore, just his last name, Soleimani, sums to 146, which is very similar to Donald Trump's 14/6 date of birth. And just to blow your guys' minds a little bit more here, it seems like the presidency of Donald Trump is heavily, heavily connected to this Persian Gulf crisis, and it may be his defining moment going forward as he attempts to seal a second term. Notice how in our two most basic ciphers, the name Trump sums to 88 ordinal and 25 in reduction. Extremely similar to the Gematria of Persian Gulf crisis, which equals 88 in reduction and 205 in ordinal. But we're not done. As we mentioned, Donald Trump born on the 14th of June in 1946. This means that when Iran became an Islamic republic, he was exactly 11,979 days old. If you look deeper into the Gematria of Persian Gulf crisis, you get 110 and 979. Again, just like his age when Iran became an Islamic republic. Once again, staying consistent here, measuring to the beginning of the Persian Gulf crisis, to the date of the attacks on the general, we find that today is the 244th day of the crisis. In Hebrew Gematria, the word kill sums to 244. In the standard alphabetic order in English, the word kill equals 44, which is also today's date numerology, 1 + 3 + 20 + 20. If you check my channel's history, you'll see a video on the Austin stabbing today. The city of Austin sums to 440 in Jewish Gematria, the 44th prime number, 193, like stab. There are so many numeric connections between that stabbing in Austin and the U.S. airstrikes. It's really worth its own video. I'm not going to dive deeper into this here. I'm going to try and keep this a little bit short. I found it interesting that today is Iran's 14,888th day as a republic. Pretty similar to the Gematria of New World Order. It appears as if Iran is now about to fall under the New World Order's control. Also, a lot of 97s. General Qasem Soleimani, 97. His last name, 97. he met his death at an airport. Both of those also summing to 97, which is the 25th prime number. Of course, Trump equals 25 as well. So, is this pointing at a major conflict between these two nations? I believe going forward, this is definitely going to be the case, and it's very possible that this may only escalate, as unfortunate as that sounds, but that's not a prediction. Just saying that's what's happening. Also, I want to point out, in regards to this 244, 2020 kicked off the United States' 244th year since existence. So later this year, on July 4th, Independence Day, the United States turns 244 years old. A lot lining up for this year, guys, so it'll be a pretty interesting one in the news, I do believe. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Trying to keep it as short as possible. Thanks to everybody who jumped in. Please stay safe out there. Peace, love, God bless. Stay positive, stay friendly, stay smiling. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time, everyone. See ya!